really disgusts me? People who complain about their pants being too long. So hack them off. You can always cut some off, but you can never just add some on. I know this from personal experience. I've been referred to as ogre child, massive one, mammoth, jolly green giant, Amazon woman, behemoth, Goliath, stork legs, Sasquatch, the Tower, Miss American Alpine, and worst of them all, Abdullah. And you folks can't lie. I know you're just sitting there in your chairs, looking at me, thinking, God, did her mother die giving birth? But no one ever looks at the downside of being tall. They all just think, ooh, basketball player, ooh, they can reach high cabinets. They never think of the pain and ridicule that we giants must endure. There are 3 very challenging things with growing up tall. They are, 1, always being too big for toys and playground equipment, 2, attempting to find clothes that fit, and 3, how everyone assumes that I must play basketball. First of all, I'd like to state that every kid remembers the playground, especially the giant play places at fast food restaurants like Burger King and McDonald's. Just the thought of climbing up that rope ladder, diving into those plastic balls, sliding down that winding slide, and crawling through those endless tunnels is any child's delight. Now imagine what it was like for someone tall, like me. I'm 7 years old. My family and I go to Amigos. It has the best play area in town. It's a kid magnet. I eat my food as fast as I can and take off towards the play set. I run right past the little Amigo sign that states, "Your sombrero must be under this height." Wasn't in there very long before the manager told me I was too big to play in the little kids' play place. I was 7 years old, and because of genetics, they tell me I can't play there. Everyone thinks being tall is such a blessing. One summer, when I was younger, my family and I went to Elitch Gardens in Denver, Colorado for vacation. You know Elitch's. They've got rides for little kids like Teacup and boats just go in circles. They've also got rides for adults like the roller coasters and tilt-a-whirls. Imagine my disappointment when my parents were told I was too big for the little kid rides and wasn't old enough for the adult rides. Being tall is just peachy. When I was little, I begged my parents for my size. You remember those? Barbies that were life size. Just as big as the little girls who played with them. So on my birthday, I opened a big present. The box says my size Barbie. I'm so excited. I rip open the box and take out the Barbie. Let me just say, it wasn't my size. So I searched for something bigger. A Barbie Jeep. The commercials portrayed little girls driving around battery-powered, hot pink, Barbie-decorated Jeeps. I wanted to be part of Barbie's crew, too. I spotted one once in a store while shopping with my parents. I ran up to the display model and tried to climb in. My knees wouldn't even fit behind the plastic Mattel steering wheel. Being tall is just great. Now for my second problem with being tall. If I find pants that fit my waist, they go to right about mid-calf. And if I find pants that are long enough, I can fit 2 pregnant watermelon in the waistline along with me. What was me? Where are the big stores? Huh? Where are the tall stores? Where are the big and tall stores? Definitely not in my town. And shoes. I guess Mr. Big Shot Shoemaker decided that all women, short and tall, should go through the agony of heels. Not all women want to be taller, okay? Women like me sure don't. So how did these manufacturers sleep at night, knowing that millions of women around the world are suffering from the ridicule of people who think that they should wear shorter shoes? Women like me. And when I'm daring enough to try a pair of taller shoes, people will scream at me. Literally scream and say, "You don't need those. You don't need to be any taller. Well, thanks a lot. Now I feel really, really short." Oh, I'm sorry. You feel short. And that's my fault? If you feel short, buy some stilettos. That's what heels do. Make you look taller. Try them out sometime. I mean, I'm not trying to sound uncouth. I just believe the world has the right to know our story. Ours and the tall people of the world. Ours and the freaks of nature. We belong in a circus freak show. Ladies and gentlemen, come one, come all. See the lady that clothing stores forgot. Now for my third and final point. Do I look like a basketball player? Do I? Well, if you're thinking yes, you have been misinformed. So I'm tall. So what? Not all tall people play basketball, and not all basketball players are tall. I really doubt anyone looks at me and thinks to themselves, ooh, she must be on the speech and debate team. And for those rare people who do think that when they see me, well, then my hat is off to them. And by taking off my hat, I look shorter, for the benefit of all the insecure short people of the world. When people come up to me and say, hey, you're tall, do you play basketball? I have this incredible urge to respond in saying, hey, you're short, do you play miniature golf? I never say that, because I think that maybe those people are as sensitive about being short as I am of being tall. And when people hear that I don't play basketball, they say, why not? You could be so good. And I reply by saying, I've watched some basketball. I've even played some. I know how those basketball players treat their tall ones. They're like, hey, big guy, stand underneath the hoop, catch the ball. Give it to the point guard. That's right, the little fast guy. And I just really don't care for the game of basketball. It's a contact sport, and I can't get used to that. I break easily, okay? It's like a toothpick wrestling rocks out there. Oh, don't get me wrong. I have absolutely nothing against the game of basketball. I'm only against the people who think I'm abusing the world and not playing it. So if people don't stop asking me that maddening question, do you play basketball? I might just lose it. And if I hear one more time, how's the weather up there? I might just spit on their head and reply, it's raining. Now in closing, I'd like to reiterate 3 problems with being tall. First of all, it's not easy being a tall child. I was getting kicked out of the Amigos playground and never being able to play with the toys you love. But amazingly, all the tall people you see in the world today have survived their tortured childhood. They have survived to become tall men and women, as most tall children seem to become. Second problem is, tall people have a tough time finding clothes that fit. Not only pants and shoes, but shirts. The sleeves are never long enough. That's a tall person's story. Sleeves never reach the wrist, pants never reach the ankles, and shoes never reach any height under 2 inches. So next time you see someone tall who's wearing high waters, someone tall who looks as though they're waiting for a flood, give them a break. It's harder than you think to find clothes that fit. And last but not least, not all tall people play basketball. So next time you get the urge to ask, think again. Maybe you could ask in a different way, like, so, what activities are you in? Do you swim? And be very careful mentioning someone's height, especially if that someone's like me. They might just spit on your head. But don't get me wrong, there are some very strong points of growing up tall. I'm sorry to say they are the stereotypical phrases we've all heard. Ooh, you can reach high cabinets. Ooh, you can see over crowds. Just because they're stereotypical doesn't mean they aren't true. And I really like hearing people tell me, oh, I wish I was as tall as you. And the startled look on their face when I reply, no, you don't. Now, I know all you've heard me do today is grumble about being tall. Though I act like I hate it, I don't think I would change my height for anything. Because if I did, what would I complain about? Well, I lost my trailer. Whoops. Hey, tragic. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No, Dow Jones dropped 10 points to hey, Mike. Every night, ba.
Welcome back to good old radio days. I'm your host, Bill Majeski. Now is the time to sit back, relax, and use your imagination in this classic radio adventure. After all, what would it have been like to just hear the words and not see the image before you? So follow along as we present Good Old Radio Days by Bill Majeski.
My name is Sam Corner, and I'm an investigator for the Middle Brow Insurance Company. Right now, I'm on my way to see my boss, Tom Hardship. He mentioned something about a lucky magic magnet. I don't know. Sometimes he acts like a big kid. But you know how bosses are. As I stepped into the elevator, the pretty operator gave me the big eye, but I'm used to that by now. I walked down the hallway toward Hardship's office. What? It was a long hallway. Hardship didn't look a day over 50. Unless you looked at his face. He was tall, considering his size, but he was an okay guy. Sit down, Sam. I am sitting down, Tom.
You look so tall.
I look tall because you're lying down.
Right, look. We've got a claim to pay a certain Mrs. Scarlett Tanager $1 million on the death of her husband. he became an unwilling repository for a pair of Chinese swords. He got stuck twice. Once in the living room, once in the hall. We think the wife might know more than she's telling.
Well, what did she tell you? That's not much to go on.
Oh, never mind, you can do it. Here, take this lucky magic magnet. It might come in handy.
A lucky magic magnet, eh?
Yeah, just take it. It may be of some use to you.
You've been working too hard, boss. But I humored him. I took the magic magnet and stuck it into my vest pocket. I went to the door. Okay, boss. Will do. Sincerely yours, Sam Corder.
Oh, cut out that sincerely yours bit. It's corny. Bad news. Overly melodramatic.
That's my boss. A hard man to deal with, but underneath it all, not real likable. I went over to the east side of town. Ding dong. The door opened. A pair of gorgeous eyes stared at me. A soft voice bade me enter. And since I didn't know what bade me enter meant, I stayed outside.
Come on in, big boy.
Now that I understood. Her arms were soft, graceful, tapering gently to a revolver she had in her left hand. Mrs. Tannerton, I'm sincerely yours, Sam Corder from the insurance company.
Why didn't they send Johnny $50? That would have made more sense. Ha, 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 ha.
Cute gag. Glad to see you haven't lost your sense of humor in your time of mourning. And please, put the gun down. Artillery makes me nervous. You don't seem to be too broken up about your husband's death.
Oh. Oh! It was awful. When I saw that sword stuck into him, I was cut to the quick.
That's about where he got it, too. You know, of course, that if he were killed by you, the money goes not to you, but to the girls' industrial league softball team at Middle Brown Insurance.
I know, I know.
Well, did your husband have any enemies?
Only me.
Now we're getting somewhere.
He was untrustworthy. Always going out with the boys.
The boys?
Gladys Du Bois, a singer at the cafe.
I'm on my way.
Must you leave? We're barely acquainted.
Put me down on your visitor sheet for another day. Sincerely yours, Sam Corder.
I will if you kick that sleazy sign off, Charlie.
Everybody's a critic. I went down to the cafe. It was a noisy place. Rough, tough, and weird. I went over to the bar. The bartender poured me a tall root beer, and I sipped it, all the while casing the joint. Where was Gladys Du Bois? Bartender, where is Gladys Du Bois?
Over behind the beaded curtains.
So I went over and pushed aside the beaded curtains. How was I to know those beads were on her dress? Sorry, miss, are you Gladys Du Bois?
Sure, I'm Gladys Du Bois. In the flesh.
Well, you knew Red Tanager.
Sure.
He's dead.
He always was.
Well, how did he die?
If you had 2 Chinese swords stuck in you, you'd die too.
Serious up, baby.
Come on, handsome, you're always thinking of work. Let me teach you the latest. The New Jersey rum boogaloo.
Why not? You gotta have some fun, right? I watched her. Liquid. Fluid. She had all the moves. Then I tried it. Then we tried it together. But it was beginning to bore me. I stepped outside. Great. 15 minutes gone by and they hadn't even been banged over the head yet. Don't. Oh. Spoke too soon. The stars and planets banked around in a whirling race and the lights came on red and green. Obviously, someone didn't want me poking around. Word had gotten out about me. I was floating in Cloudsville and was now being deposited roughly into a coal bin. With my hands tied behind my back. My feet tied behind my hands. And my back tied behind my feet. Well, I'm in it. To work free in a minute and get to a telephone. I dialed the number of my houseboy, Jimmy Houseboy, with my nose. Wait a minute. What was I dialing with my nose for? My hands were free. I gotta take a vacation. Well, anyway, there was no answer. Where was my faithful houseboy? Why didn't he answer the phone? Ah, there's daylight. I was free. I looked up to the sky and breathed deeply. And then, there's the sword whistled by me. Shh. Oh, you know, I forget the tone it whistled. I pulled it out of the wall and examined it. So that was their game. Well, now I'm at business. And you know, I made it. When I say business! Courtesy of Sincerely Yours, Sam Porter. I was ready to leave now. The whole business had me stumped. But then an idea hit me. I dashed back to the tanager home. She was there. She was as beautiful as a plate full of oyster crackers. Look, baby, I've got the answer. This is a right-handed sword and the other is a left-handed jab. When you reached out to rub your hand through my unruly wavy locks, I noted that you were left-handed. You did it, Mrs. Tanager. And you're not getting the money. You're going to jail! You're going to be in big trouble! Sincerely yours, Sam Porter. I was about to dial the telephone when I heard a familiar voice. My houseboy. Jimmy Houseboy. Houseboy! What are you doing here with this murderess?
Don't pick on her just because she's a member of a minority group.
What minority group?
Female murderers. There aren't many of those around.
You used the right-handed sword to lance her husband and she used the left. You're both going to jail. Mrs. Tanager advanced toward me, took her sword and pierced me in the chest. Oh, right about at my tie clip. Oh, you're not gonna leave me here to die.
We'll leave you here,
And then you can do what you want.
yeah, we wouldn't want to oppose our bills on you, ha.
And with that, houseboy withdrew the sword from me. I swallowed it, destroying the weapon. The last time I hired somebody from a circus freak show. I started to leave, but then I remembered my boss, Tom Hardship, the lucky magic magnet he gave me. Said it might come in handy. Aiming at a houseboy, slowly, fighting all the way, he was drawn towards me. The magnet attracting the sword inside him. He drew near me, and I floored him with the right. Mr. Tanager, clutching frantically at a houseboy, reeled and staggered toward me. I swung again. Flesh against bone made me tingle. I had missed her and hit myself in the mouth. I finally tickled them both into submission. Ooh, ha! And hit the floor. And lay still. I tied them together with her long, flaming tresses. She didn't look so good, bald. And that was that. Case closed. The money didn't go to Mrs. Tanager. It went to the Girls Industrial Lake softball team, and that's one diamond I was investing in. Another hardship case solved by Sincerely Yours, Sam Porter.
No! I mean, no! Yeah, you don't want to come inside. Nice out here, don't you think? You see, the hail doesn't really bother me. So, we could just sit here on the front porch and, yeah, I'm sure my family's asleep, doesn't want to be bothered. Whoa, look at the time. You'd better go. What? It's only 7:30? Well, early bedtime for me then. Okay. Thanks. I had a great time. Call me. I mean that. Bye-bye. That's what I have to go through every time a date takes me home. No, it's not because I don't like the guy. It's not because my house is messy or smells or anything like that. I just don't want to expose him to them. My family. Yes, my family. Sometimes I sit in my room and repeat over and over to myself, my gene pool's not theirs. My gene pool's not theirs. We're not related. Oh, don't get me wrong, I love my family very much, but when it comes to me dating, it's just not working out. Would you like a few examples? Okay, I'll give you 3 examples of why I don't want dates to meet my family. 1, my overprotective father. and his night vision goggles. 2, my 97-year-old grandfather, who upon meeting anyone will go into great detail about his many and often disgusting medical ailments. And 3, my mother. She never made it big on Broadway, and now she looks at every guest in our home as a potential audience. Let me show you how the whole process works. You see, my family's a little old-fashioned and believes that my date should come and meet everyone, which is fine, I guess. Which brings me to my first example, my dad. Did I say that he was overprotective? That's an understatement. If you look up overprotective in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of my 6'6", 280-pound father. Let me explain. You see, my father's a retired military man, and I'm his only daughter. He's been known to say, all teenage boys are scum, and have their minds on only one thing. He is so overprotective, in fact, that before a date arrives in my house, you can find him on the computer downloading the most current list of convicted sex offenders, complete with mugshots and fingerprints for each convicted felon. And just my luck, when my date arrives, my father insists on answering the door. He invites my date in and says, "At ease, soldier. Let's step into my den and we can look at my military collection from my 20 years serving overseas." He's not talking about medals and photographs here, people. You see, my father has a large collection of handguns, throwing knives, and various high-powered weapons. He loves to show these to each and every one of my dates as he brags about his proficiency with all of his weapons. After my date has changed his underwear, my father begins to interview. Did I say interview? I meant interrogate. He begins to ask questions, rapid fire. No pun intended. Many of you might have seen Application to Date My Daughter. Well, my father takes this to a whole new level. "Young man, what kind of car do you drive? Does it have insurance? Okay, okay. About your car, does it have bucket seats and a center console separating you from your passenger? Does your car have a back seat? Really? Moving on. When you first met my daughter, what was the first thing you noticed about her? And I must warn you, if your answer begins with either the letter T or A, there's the door maggot. Next, career objectives, IQ, GPA, highest Boy Scout ranks and badges earned, and I'm going to need 3 letters of recommendation. Notarized. And just before my date and I leave the room, my father adds, "Oh, and young man, the camouflaged face you see in your window will be mine." See what I mean? See why I don't want to bring dates home to meet my family? Oh, but it gets worse. Which brings me to my second example, my grandfather. He lives with us. I love him to death, but like most men his age, he has a few medical problems. The thing is, he insists on sharing every single detail with every one of my guests, including all of my dates. Just the other day, a date came over to my house. Somehow, he made it past my father, amazingly enough, and in enters my grandfather with his metal walker. And guess what was the first thing he said to my date? Nothing. He simply opened up his bathrobe and revealed a little bit more than anyone wanted to see. Oh, but it's not what you think. He just wanted to show my date his week-old gallbladder surgical scar.
Hey, Sonny, see the scar? Kind of looks like the border between Saudi Arabia and Iraq. And this mole right here, well, that's Baghdad. And this bruise up here, that's Kuwait.
Stepping in, I got my grandfather to close his robe, hoping I could change his subject. No luck. He then proceeded to take out his false teeth and proclaim,
"Hey, Sonny, I can wrap my bottom lip over my nose."
Realizing that my attempts to change his subject had gone from bad to worse, I grabbed my date by the arm and said, "Let's go meet Mom." My third example, my mother. An excellent cook and a wonderful woman. But unfortunately, there's one part of her life that has never been fulfilled. Allow me to elaborate. See, my mother loves to sing and dance. She loved to perform, always dreaming of Broadway. But then she met my father, fell in love, got married, and spent 20 years hopping from army post to army post. And now she looks for any, and I mean any, opportunity to perform. For instance, my mother is very kind now going to all of my dates. Probably because she's trying to make them feel at ease after having met my father. And one time she said to my date, "Oh, I hope my husband didn't scare you too badly with his little interrogation." My date replied, "Oh, don't worry, I tap danced through that." "You tap dance? What a coincidence, so do I!" Stepping onto the nearby hardwood floor, my mother proceeded to recreate the entire tap scene from 42nd Street. Feel the beat of dancing feet, and the avenue I'm taking you to. the street.
So who's ready for dinner?
Finally, we all go and sit down at the table. Everything seems to be going well, for now, until there's an ear-piercing shriek from the kitchen.
Oh, heck! I broke our only butter dish.
Don't worry, dinner wasn't ruined. Not yet, anyway. My mother compromised with a very decorative cup for the broken butter dish. All was well, for now. Until about 15 minutes later, when my date innocently asks, excuse me, can someone please pass the butter cup? Oh. Before the words were even out of his mouth, I knew what lay before us. It was a glorious opportunity for my mother to perform. And so, the pain began. She busted into her own rendition of, "What do you build me up, buttercup, baby, just to let me down. When you come around and bust off, you don't go, baby, when you say you will. And I love you still." I hope today I painted a mental image for you of what it's like to bring a date home to my family. Let's recap. First, my dad. The type of overprotective father that will call my cell phone while I'm on a date and say, "Hey, honey, how's the date going? In other words, are there any legs I need to break?" Secondly, my grandfather. A man who's not afraid to get up close and personal with you. And lastly, my mother. Overflowing with talent, but sometimes I wish she would just put a lid on it. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love my family very much, and I will never stop loving them. But the more I think about it, when I meet the right guy, I'm gonna elope. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum dum. The story you're about to see is false. The names, however, have not been changed, so the guilty will get the shaft they deserve. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we find that fiction is stranger than truth. And why shouldn't it be? And now for our story. It is a story of frenzy, terror, rage, madness, and puppy love. It is a story of bizarre circumstance and unbelievable coincidence. It is the story of Lulu Bonds. The Perils of Lulu by William Gleason.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lulu. I'm a 17-year-old honor student from Rising Falls, Kansas. I received a research grant to study the effects of magna protons.
Yes, Lulu did have a brain.
And let's see, if my calculations are correct, I will have found the energy source of the future. Now for my final checklist. Preheat to 475 degrees. Whip savagely until wrist becomes tired. Bake for 45 minutes or until the silly me, this is my recipe for marshmallow crunch balls. I better turn this thing off.
But it was too late. The oven had overheated, and the young girl was sprayed with supercharged magma protons.
Oh, heck. I'll never get these protons out without pre-soaking.
Lulu shrugged the incident off, but over the next few hours, strange and ominous things began to occur with alarming regularity. The next morning, while Lulu and her mother, Leela, were eating breakfast, Lulu's father, Luke, entered looking perplexed.
Crazy things are going on. It's turned right supernatural ever since you come home with them magnet stains on your smock.
Morning, Leela. Luke. Lulu.
Morning, Lance.
Lance, come on in. Luke, let's leave these two lovebirds alone.
Yes, it was no secret. Lance and Lulu had been going steady since the first grade. What had started as a case of the hots had evolved into a profound and mature relationship. Hey, love ducks.
Hey, Huggy Bunny.
Obviously, a relationship based on intellect.
Hey, why aren't you at work?
Cold and sick. I got the love fever. How about a kiss?
You know the rules, Romeo.
I'll respect you. Honest, I will.
Ain't no kisses until we're Mr. and Mrs. or at least engaged. So before your lips on mine do linger, I expect a genuine store-bought ring on my finger case closed. However, I will let you hold my hand if you promise not to tell the other boys.
Afraid that just won't cut it, Lulu. I'm a man now. I have certain yearnings.
You lusty swine!
Hey, Lulu, look at here what I got.
Oh, Lance, a ring. It's beautiful.
With this ring, I do thee engage.
Oh, well, I guess there's nothing filthy, nasty, or degrading about a kiss between fiancés. But it's debatable.
Oh, at last I shall feel your lips on mine.
Wait, what's that noise?
At that very moment, a massive and angry tornado was headed right for Lulu's Kansas home.
What in Tornado! Lulu, Lance, run for your life!
Who cares? Just kiss me before I lose my mind.
Give me shelter, quick! Shelter, Lance. Shelter. Oh, the tornado won't go me!
Yes, Lulu was gone but not forgotten. Spinning into the stratosphere at 750 revolutions per minute, she was terrified. She was horrified. But most of all, she was dizzy. Meanwhile, in the depths of the secret Soviet spy center, events were taking place that were to have a profound effect on Lulu's life.
Where is Comrade Linsky? I need Comrade Linsky. But look around you. Is anyone seeing Comrade Linsky? No. That is because Comrade Linsky is Linsky.
Ludmila Linsky, reporting for duty.
You are late, but you are also very beautiful. Perhaps we can work something out? No? Okay. Our agents in Rising Falls, Kansas have noticed something very unusual. It seems young imperialist female was sprayed with supercharged magneprotons. We want you to find this girl and bring her back here so that we may study her. She was last seen in a tornado. Satellite pictures show a tornado put down somewhere in Atlantic Ocean.
Then girl is drowned by now. Or at least very wet.
No, the girl was picked up by ocean liner.
I leave it to Bugs.
Yes, it was true. Lulu had been rescued by the Neptune ocean liner, and as a special treat, was invited to eat at the captain's table that evening.
Captain? I thought the girl we rescued was gonna have dinner with us.
She is. She should be down shortly.
I mean, it's such a miracle that we found her.
Captain, I urgently must speak to you. The ship is sinking, sir.
Can't I even sit down to a meal anymore without being pestered by trifling mishaps? I mean, ships sink all the time.
Did you say sink?
There's a clogged sink in the galley. Get back to your station, sailor, and send in an SOS while you're at it. Well, Lulu, I see you haven't regained your sea legs yet.
I'm still dizzy. All that spinning and spinning and spinning.
There was to be no dinner served on the Neptune that night, for the boat began to sink. It began to toss terribly. Mother Nature had gone mad, and with the terrifying slowness, the ship rolled over.
Hey, look, everybody, we're upside down.
What do we do?
How do we get out?
No, woman. We're upside down. How do we use the bathrooms?
Don't panic. Isn't there someone among us who could lead us to safety? I will lead you to safety. My name is Linda Lulebetter from Lafayette, Louisiana. Louisiana, you say?
Yes, that is the reason for a southern accent. I lead you follow. Little did they suspect that this was the infamous Russian agent Ludmila Linsky. And so, their incredible journey to safety began.
Okay, to the left. And the right. And the left. And the... Oh, finally. Safety.
Lulu!
Lance!
Lulu, I told you I'd find you, honey. Just let me kiss you.
Afraid that is not possible. Lulu, you come with me. Again!
You're gonna have to kill me first. Very well. On second thought, have a nice trip, Lulu. But remember, I love you and let's go find you, honey. It didn't take Lulu long to realize that she was the victim of a diabolical plot. Instead of drifted in a tiny lifeboat in the middle of the Atlantic, she was at the mercy of Ludmila Linsky.
Who are you, anyway?
Ludmila Linsky, secret Soviet agent.
What do you want with me?
Is it my magneproton research? No, it's one to the recipe for marshmallow crunch balls. Okay, no, haha, I make joke, but really, submarine will be here within the hour.
I can't wait that long. I'm out of here.
And with that, Lulu dove into the murky deep and swam madly for the nearest shore. She had no way of knowing what or who awaited her. Lulu!
Lance!
Lulu, you're alive! I was worried sick. But don't worry, I left a trail of breadcrumbs through the jungle. We can follow those back to safety.
You're one smart cookie. That deserves a kiss. And this time, nothing's gonna stop us.
I love you, Lulu.
And I love you. Ludmila?
Ludmila?
Yes, Ludmila Linsky, secret Soviet agent. Now you are mine.
Not so fast, Ludmila. Run, Lulu, run! Nuggies! And run she did, over hill, over dale. She hit the dusty trail. Like the red robin, she was bobbing along. Just a quick donkey ride up to Pango Wango International Airport. She was just in time to catch flight 41. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To fasten your seatbelts, simply grab supports and Cali and your transverse cotter pin. Open the star front loop into the dorsal clamp and the calibration grinder. Belay the axle distributor, verify tensile strength by pushing them both extensions ventrally. Any questions? Okay, the plane to pressurize the flight. Hold your breath like this. And if you don't, well, you're screwed. Once again, thank you for flying wide world.
Hey, everybody. Let's get to know each other. I'm Lulu Barnes, and today it seems like everything I touch turns to captivity. You are all in grave danger. What about you, Mr. Plane Captain?
Well, what can I tell you? I take off and land a lot. Everybody assumes that pilots have this macho hang on them. And they're right.
Darn near impossible to strap yourself to a bird with 750,000 horsepower without getting sent to masculine invincibility. People ask me if I'm scared, spending half my life at 30,000 feet. This is what I tell them. No. Suddenly, the plane began to shake violently, completely out of control, and went diving down to earth. Lulu, Lance, how did you get here? Long story. Quick, Lance, before we die, kiss me. We're alive.
And who's that alien-looking guy over there? I am Largos. I'm an alien from the planet. I was passing by and saw your plane was going down. I saved your bacon.
Yes, once again, Lulu had been saved. The alien gave Lulu and Lance the lift back to Rising Falls, Kansas. Soon, everything went back to normal, and it wasn't long before wedding bells were ringing for Lulu and Lance.
Do you, Lance, take Lulu for what it's worth through thick and thin and stuff like that?
I do.
And by the power invested in me, along with Leland Luke Bards, Comrade Lobeck, and Lou Linsky, we wish Lulu and Lance lots of love. Plant one on our son.
Finally.
Joey, hi Joey, I'm Katie. Wanna go play catch? No, my name is Katie. Well, of course Katie is a girl's name. Why do I have a girl's name? Because I am a girl! Oh, you didn't know. It's okay. You're not the first person who's mistaken me for a boy, and you won't be the last. Yeah, you don't play catch with girls. I'll just go over there playing in the sand. Alone. And that's the way my childhood went. If I had a nickel for every time someone mistook me for a boy, yes, I was a tomboy. What's a tomboy, you might ask? Well, according to the American Heritage Dictionary, a tomboy is a lively, spirited girl who behaves like a boy. And I loved it. What better life to live than a boy's? I knew because I had two older brothers. I wanted to do everything like they did. Everything. Wanted to act like they did, dress like they did, go to the bathroom like they did. Well, yeah, I know now that it was a mistake. Now that I'm looking back on my childhood, I realize that the only way to describe it is by identifying the three basic stages of my tomboy past. First, the beginning. What contributing factors led up to my freakishly tomboyish behavior? Second, the tomboy era itself. The real meat and potatoes of my childhood. And finally, the salute, the signing up to my tomboy days. Or when I realized that boys really weren't attracted to my masculinity. Well, let's begin at the beginning. It all started with the facts of life. Now, I thought I had all those figured out. I mean, why wouldn't I? I was 5 years old. 5 years is a long time. If I don't know everything there is to know after being on this earth for 5 years, well then, I was a failure. So I drew my own conclusions of how I thought everything worked. Well, my reasoning was logical. I mean, I ate what the boys ate, drank what the boys drank, played and acted and spoke like the boys did. So that meant I must be a boy. My parents realized they had to explain some very vital information to me when I came running into the house from play. I cried, "Mommy, Mommy, Brett kicked me in the..." Let's just say I, nor any other girl for that matter, has boobs. So my parents sat me down and broke the news to me. I was a girl. But luckily, I wasn't easily convinced. I knew that boys have more fun. They do. They get to climb trees, play with snakes and frogs, and pee standing up. Let's not go into that again. My parents also tried to teach me little rules our society lives by. Like how little girls aren't supposed to wear boys' underwear. But they were so cool! Batman and Spider-Man, the Hulk! And I had flowers. Minnie Mouse. The Hulk! Minnie Mouse. The Hulk! Barbie. I was devastated. So my little 5-year-old mind found a way to keep everyone happy. I wore my little girly, frilly, lacy underwear. Underneath my brother's Spider-Man underwear. It was a little bunchy, but hey, the spare was on the outside. That was only the beginning. Now on to the tomboy era itself. Now, by this point, I was an all-out, total, and complete tomboy. When other little girls were receiving notes from boys asking, "Will you be my girlfriend? Check yes or no." I was receiving similar notes asking, Are you a boy? Besides being really tall, I never really had a feminine voice, if you know what I mean. But another reason people mistook me for being a boy is that I played on a boys' baseball team. For 6 years! And every year I was the only girl on my team. No t-ball or softball for me, no sir. I remember one instance in the Little League game when I stepped up to the plate to bat, dug my little cleats in the dirt, elbow back, proper stance. Then came the stare down. Just me and the pitching machine. And then I heard the catcher's voice behind me say, "Hey, why are you wearing girls' shorts?" Okay. I wanted nothing more than to turn around and spit a load of my chewing tobacco all over his catcher's head. Well, sure I was chewing tobacco. I was a baseball player. Gotta have a bulging pouch in your lip, right? Okay, it wasn't chewing tobacco. It was shredded beef jerky shoved between my teeth and lip. But I looked cool. Let's not forget that. Oh, don't feel sorry for me. Don't be angry with these people for thinking I was a boy. You don't understand what they saw. Please don't feel sorry for me until you see what I look like. Boy or girl? You can't tell? Neither could they! Now, when I tell you I was to be just like my brothers, I meant it, including my haircut. I'll never forget the snip, snip, snip of the barber's scissors and the conversation he had with my brother.
Hey, I didn't know you had two brothers.
I don't.
Oh yeah? Well then who's this big guy sitting right here?
That's my sister.
What? I don't cut girls' hair.
He just did. So I look like a boy. Who cares? I was myself, and no one else. That is just one example of how my tomboy teasing days built up my character into the woman I have become. Okay, enough of that deep, girly, mushy-gushy talk. Let's move on to my third and final stage of being a tomboy. The salute. The signing off to my tomboy days. Now, I had been a tomboy for as long as I could remember. It was a difficult concept for me to understand that I couldn't just scratch myself anywhere I wanted to in public. No, I had to find a new way of catching the gentleman's eye. My old methods just weren't working anymore. I guess walking up to some guy and saying, "Hey, did you see my head first slide into home plate yesterday? See that? I took the catcher out! I was sick. He was out, so. Wanna hang out?" No? Okay. Yeah, that just wasn't cutting it anymore. So I decided to seek professional help. Who would know better about the opposite sex than the girliest girls in school? So one day, I stepped into the giant herd of the pink and fluffy. And I asked the girliest girl of them all for advice on flirting. To my surprise, she gave me very detailed advice on how to flirt.
Okay, so first, you gotta make eye contact and bite your bottom lip a little bit like this. And then look away for about 5 seconds, look back, do it again. Tease it, it'll drive her crazy.
So I thought, okay, if I can hit a home run, I can do this, right? See some cute guy I have a crush on, give it a try. It ended up looking something more like this. Wow. Being a girl, it wasn't easy. I mean, I didn't just wake up one morning and poof, I stopped rolling around in the dirt. It was a slow-going process. I remember my first lifestyle change into girlhood. It was a big deal. Everyone was shocked when I walked down the stairs wearing, you guessed it, a dress. My very first dress. Prom was a big night for me. Now I'm proud to say that my tomboy days have receded into the past. Not hidden though, never hidden. I'm very proud of my childhood. The beginning, the middle, and the end. But I do have one regret. I never did learn how to make that noise with my armpit.